Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another SWTOR Republic video. Today I have guys another SWTOR Republic discussion video. In today's SWTOR Republic discussion video, we're just going to be going over community-driven events. Now, yesterday, SWTOR had a in-game event for her 20k subscriber special, and this kind of got me thinking and wondering, what could be, what could become of these community-driven events, and what BioWare could actually do, which could definitely bring the community even closer together, and just kind of bring everything full circle with this game. So, hope you guys enjoy this SWTOR Republic discussion video. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some gaming mints, then check the link in the description down below, Catalyst Gaming Mints. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in this discussion. Alrighty guys, so let's get into this discussion right now. So once again, the main idea for this video was just the fact that SWTOR had a 20k subscriber in-game event on the StarForge server. And obviously, since I am on this server, I decided to just go ahead and attend it. And it really kind of got me thinking, and it kind of, brought up some points, at least in my opinion, that I felt like it would be worthy of a discussion video. Now, obviously, the community in SWTOR Republic is definitely very active, and a thing that they always tend to do is they tend to do these community events. Now, I have gone to some of the other ones where we've had, like open world PvP events, along with, many other things. And I feel like, it just, every time you go to these events, I feel like it kind of brings up something that I feel like could kind of be used by at least BioWare / EA BioWare, just to go ahead and really bring players, I say closer in this game, and also allow more player interaction without doing much. I mean, one thing that I feel like could definitely be done is, even though the events are usually community driven, like I said, they're community driven events, one thing that could easily be done is BioWare could kind of have these polls that they set up occasionally, where they're like, what do you want to do, open world PvP, kind of set these things up, kind of keep them as a community event, but kind of set these things up in posts where they're like, oh hey, you know what, we're gonna have this event where everyone goes to Oricon on all 3 different servers and battle it out, or kind of arrange this stuff with the community, just to kind of bring stuff I say closer together. Because honestly, in my opinion, I think the most fun I've had with this game is when you have an imp, you see an imp in or a Republic player in an area that they shouldn't be, you attack them, and it kind of goes escalates where you're fighting back and forth, and eventually an all-out war kind of starts to occur. I don't know, I feel like when those things happen, at least when they would always happen, it would be incredibly entertaining. I remember that constantly being a thing on some of the older servers where people would get into wars, and then you just see these crazy battles just kind of occurring. Like I said, I feel like that's something that could be kind of looked into, at least, BioWare could try to step in and do something along the lines of that. Because, I mean, these community-driven events are really awesome, and they really allow the players to kind of go together, and also just to see different aspects of the game they might have not actually realized. Now, once again, obviously, I'm just kind of saying BioWare this, BioWare that. I mean, once again, the main point is that these are community-driven, but I feel like, these community-driven events are really entertaining and enjoyable, and just, if we were able to get, the actual people that are working on the game kind of, involved with this, would definitely help a lot more, at least in my opinion. So, I mean, besides that, these events are always really awesome, no matter what. I mean, honestly, sometimes events, they don't go as planned in the sense that, not as many people show up to them. But I still feel like, you can still really get stuff out of them. Because when you really plan it, and then you're just able to just get everything set up, it can be enjoyable. I mean, one good example was, like I said, just with, yesterday with the SWTOR event. I mean, the one thing that I thought was pretty entertaining is just that, there's so many people kind of dealing with this event, as in, kind of going to the event, that there was so many instances of Tatooine, and it was just kind of crazy to see, that there were so many instances just full, mainly, at least in my opinion, I believe so, is, just because of this event, everyone was trying to get into the same instance, and obviously they were starting to completely overflow. I don't know, I think that's crazy on its own, at least in my opinion, that, so many people showed up to this event, and everyone was able to just kind of have a good time and do all that different stuff right there. I think that's something that really kind of drives this community together, at least in my opinion, is that, it shows that people are willing to just go to the stuff just to all have a fun time. And that's always kind of something that's important with these events, is if they, they're built right and a lot of people are interested enough, then a lot of people can show up. I mean, honestly, even if we just take for a second that even if this weren't another event, if this was just an event for just anything, just a random event, just hey, let's go PvP and stuff, you would just PvP, open world PvP, people just setting it up, you would likely see kind of a similar result as seen with that event. Because like I said, it's very clear that a lot of people in this community like these sort of things happening, and a lot of people tend to, I say a lot of people don't tend to see it very often. And I mean, the main reason behind that is just because these events are incredibly hard to set up, at least in my opinion from what I can tell. But I feel even though they are pretty hard to set up, they still are very enjoyable, just in the sense that everyone's able to just kind of do this stuff and keep the game, I say running with kind of new content, in the sense of that we're just kind of making these events, and of course just attacking people, or just doing other, I say kind of social stuff. And like I said, I mean, community driven events, really awesome, and I feel they, every time they kind of happen, it feels like it's a little a fresh breath of air, just kind of seeing new stuff happen, or kind of seeing a bunch of people in one area, enough to the point where you have just instances full of the game. Like I said, these things are really fun, but I mean, the main topic kind of discussion, the reason I'm talking about this is I feel more stuff can kind of get involved, just in the sense that I feel BioWare, it's very aware of these events. We've constantly seen it, for example, with Eric Musco just kind of showing up to some of these community-driven events. It's very obvious that they are aware that of the community, and just them having fun with the game and setting these things up. But I just feel something that could be really simple that they could add, just just as an extra thing, just with Star Wars: The Old Republic, is they could easily just kind of have these polls. They kind of even though it's community-driven, obviously you have the community showing up to the events. They could easily have these polls occasionally, once a month or something, where they're what do you guys want to do? Kind of people kind of vote if they want open world PvP, just these social events, or these ops, challenges, or just something really simple, and then people vote for it, and then whatever wins, BioWare can just set up some extra things in the game, or at least just say look, we're gonna have these 3 different servers, we're gonna have it the whole entire game-wide event where everyone's gonna go and PvP in this area, and then kind of get everyone involved. Because I feel if especially you had the devs kind of on board with it, I feel it would really be incredibly entertaining, and I feel it would really bring the whole community together by long term, at least in my opinion. That's one thing I definitely have to note. That's something I think is really amazing, at least in my opinion, just that actually could occur. But I mean, that's one thing I definitely have noticed, at least in my opinion. I think that's something that's pretty cool, if you ask me. Just the fact that could technically happen. But like I said, I mean, the one thing to know is obviously, even though that could technically happen, you have to understand that would still be probably somewhat hard to actually set up, just mainly because you would have multiple, I say you would kind of have to have multiple things, or kind of dealings that BioWare would have to kind of settle. Because obviously they can't just go ahead and say, alright, we're going to start doing this, we're going to start having these polls just out of nowhere. But I feel it's definitely something that is cool. At least I feel they definitely could do something with this if they were able to kind of get this approved, and that EA and all that different stuff, they kind of would be clear with that and be okay with it. Like I said, I mean, even though the community sets this up, which is really awesome and incredible, once again, because these are community-driven events, I feel it would be also really cool if BioWare was able to kind of step in and also kind of get involved with it, just so we could have the community be even closer than it already is. But anyways, guys, I think that's all I have to say for this Star Wars: The Old Republic discussion video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.